Hey, I'm Christy Simpson, and I am on the set of my latest show, Danny and the Shacks. And I just wanted to show you a little bit about what we made, the set pieces we have, the prop pieces, and talk to some of our designers so they can tell you how we made it. So we're here on our last show. We're about to do the last one. Very exciting. We've already filmed it, so you'll be watching that. Now we're just doing it for fun. So let's see, what can we talk about first? First, I want to talk about the platforms. These platforms that you see, this is still my little church, and I just wanted to do something different so we're not so limited by our small church stage. This is obviously not something that you would probably do, but we rented these platforms so I could have a split level. So these are available to rent. They're kind of expensive. You could obviously use what you have in your church if you wanted to do a tiny level. So I just put Danny and the Shacks up on the top for fun in their band. You can always have them come out in the front, be in the middle. So when you see this, don't think, oh my gosh, I can't rent a stage. You don't need to rent a stage. We just did for fun. So we have did you show like the little levels and everything? Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's just jump right in. Clyde, come on in and talk about, what do you want to talk about first? This is Clyde.
Well, hi, how are you? Let's go with the easy things first. Kettlebells. As you can see, these are extremely heavy. Okay, they're not really heavy. What they are is it's a ball. And we've taken and we took a rope and you kind of do a little butterfly thing around it and tie it and just tape it to the ball. I like to use gaff tape. It's really strong and it comes off and you use the ball later. Then you tie it and you got to put a weight on the bottom. The gentleman that actually made these for us used some more rope so it would actually sit upright.
They sit nice so they don't fall over, so they look heavy.
And then he wrapped it with aluminum foil. You can do that, or you can use more gaff tape, which will get that black color, which a lot of kettlebells are. And so then you put it down and it sits upright. And so there's
Those
that.
are fun. So they can lift these up. I actually do work out with kettlebells, so you can do presses like this. Let's see, this is my presses. You could probably do something like this. Do stuff with kettlebells. Go.
Then we also have the dumbbells and barbells, and we can do these at the same time because they're made the same way. What we did is we cut out of wall foam that we used in Jingle Bell Beach, that same kind of foam we used to make the surfboards, we used to make these. We cut circles out, and as you can see, they don't have to be perfect because people are looking at it from a distance.
Yes.
Then we wrapped them in gaff tape and made them look like barbells. This is a PVC pipe in there, and so they're like, because it's 200 pounds. And then you can take it, you can see how they're doing this, and they'll be doing stuff like this and like that. And then the same thing with these 500-pound barbells. And you can take and just train them, and
I love that.
So there's some sound effects, I think, that come that we've used.
Yes, on the CD, yes.
But this is also gaff tape. I used 2 pieces of the wool foam for this, used 3 for that, and it's a PVC pipe in the middle.
And also they're obviously super light, so there's that part where it says Danny could imagine the barbells being thrown at him, so you can throw them to him. This is in his imagination. And then when it's heavy, it's really heavy. Okay, what else? What else do we got?
Okay, so, and then this was my thing, and I actually I thought a lot of my dad, who's a physics professor here, and I thought, hey, pendulum. So we put weights at the bottom.
For the cones of Chaldea.
Yes.
You can obviously just use cones and have them run around it, but this was such a creative idea he had that I loved it.
So this is all PVC pipe. We use 3/4 inch PVC pipe on these pieces here. Different joints here. I'll have pictures that will show you exactly how many of what to do. Use an elbow joint in the back because you want to leave this part open, and then a little bit of a different type of a joint here with this elbow joint. It's more small PVC pipe. It's really simple. It sounds complicated. It's really simple. Have to put a counterweight on the back just to keep it from falling over because that's 3 pounds of the weight. This is 2.5 pound pieces. There's basically the type of disc that would go on the end of a dumbbell. And they are hooked on here with just a pipe and a little cap to a pipe that screws on there. You want to use one that screws on, don't use glue because that will come off because these are weighted. And then we put this on here so it's nice and visible. And then we used a T pipe here that's 1 inch to go around the 3/4 inch. Now as you can see, I put a bolt through here because I don't want this weight coming off. And so, because even though this is screwed in here, the part that's screwed into there is actually an insert that slides in, and it's glued in and bolted in. It's not going anywhere. Up at the top, same type of junction with another screw screwed in piece that this is glued in. And then here we have, on the top, is this is just a cone. And we just used a cap on top of this.
Huh.
And so you can see how that is. So, and then it just sits right on there, so you'll have to find the cones that have that little opening in the top. It's, again, 3/4 inch pipe. And so then what we do is we slide 6 of these out, 3 on each side. And you take, and would you go get 3 more?
Yeah, go get a couple more so we see how they work. That is so cool.
And so I was thinking of my dad there with the pendulum at the bottom. It keeps going. And so then you have somebody once in a while will come through and start them again. Let them swing. Just let them swing.
I love that.
So you see how they just slide out here.
So let's put them and show them how they work in together.
So put one up here at this mark. And why don't you bring that one up there at that mark?
Perfect.
Helen, bring this to this mark.
Yep. Here.
Okay. And then we'll bring this other one up here to this mark. And Helen and Maddie and Mason, would you like to run through these 4? Or do you want all 6 of them out? Go ahead, bring them
Let's just bring the 6.
Bring them on out.
They look so cool.
This one right here. Good.
Perfect.
Okay.
You got
So
it out.
we have 3 contestants here. Miss Christie, would you like to do those on that side or far?
Yeah, Dawn can do it.
Okay, so ready? So as we're doing the cones of Chaldean,
Ooh, I love that. I love it.
You'll have, several contestants from each side.
Isn't that fun?
So it's pretty simple. It
Isn't
sounds
that
complicated,
cool?
simple to make.
Very, very fun. I love it. Okay, so we can just scoot these back and let's talk about some other stuff. Why don't we talk, Dawn, about some of your signs?
Okay.
Some of your cool signs.
So we just did some pretty basic signs for this one. Part of the play, they're in the gym because they're doing all their workouts. So we have the Babylon Strong Gym, which you will not see in the video.
Yeah, it actually fell down and we forgot to put it up, but doesn't it look cool? So make a sign, it looks so cool.
And then we have the recording studio, which when you see the musical, you'll understand the meaning behind that. So we have the Babylon Recording Studio, Babylon Strong Gym. We also did up on the kick drum, we did the band sign, Danny and the Shack.
Circular paper?
That is actually 2 pieces of paper put together. If you get really close, you can kind of see the scheme from it.
I never saw the line down right now.
And we actually put that on like a foam board piece of paper and cut out the circle to attach it to the drum itself.
Love it.
These are also on foam board. And again, these are papers that are just pieced together. You can see the seams if you're up really close.
Show the seams. Yeah.
But from a distance, you
Cool.
can't
No,
see
I
the
never
seams
saw that.
at all.
Never saw that. I love
and so
that.
that's really pretty simple to do. That's just printing on a printer and piecing it together essentially.
Oh, they look
So-
great. So you designed that?
I did.
Can we email you for your design?
Yes.
Maybe? Or is there a program they can make that on? Or?
I drew it in Illustrator.
Okay. So
But
if you want
I
to
can send them a JPEG
Yeah.
image where
There you
they
go.
can blow it up whatever size they're wanting.
Perfect.
So.
If you want it, okay,
Yep.
be prepared. People are going to
Yep.
ask you.
And then we also did, just to go back to the weights
Yes,
real quick.
please.
Also did the weights. I did those in a program that I have, and I have a cutter that will cut vinyl. And so I actually just printed up whatever size I needed. I measured out the distance and then cut out those on vinyl so that they stick right on. It's an adhesive vinyl.
Nice.
So.
I love that. Okay, so we're going to talk about something else. First of all, can I just, Nathaniel, just show the ground, would you please? See all these tapes? We have tapes for where the cones go. Obviously, you guys know that. But from a directing standpoint, directors, I also just at the end put on little tapes where I needed to fix things. Like I needed Danny to stand in the middle, and I just put a yellow piece of tape and said, just most of the time, just stand there. I also over here, the shacks have tapes. Can you just scoot that back, Helen, so we can see? The shacks all the time, I just have them 1, 2, and 3. So step back for a minute. See how it says a 1 and a 2 and a 3? It just does. It doesn't matter. You don't have to see it. But so if you need to because they were standing in a line and turning their backs to the audience, so I said just always stand there. So okay, now let's talk about these cool pipe things that we had right there.
Okay, so what we'll do is, and Mason will have you do the second. So before you pull them out, So what you've got is we have rope. that's strung through, and there's knots tied to each end. I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. But this is, again, 3/4 inch PVC pipe. And what we did is we designed it so you see how Helen is holding those right there? Mason, if you could grab these two and then just pull straight out, nice and slow.
I like that.
And you see how they just come out to the right distance? So there are ropes on each side, so you can either plank across, and as soon as Maddie's
challenge
done,
during
Helen
Babylon
will do
Strong.
one, or then
You can also do
Mason's
that.
going to do that, and Helen do what
Don't
you're
do
doing.
the other thing. What was the other thing, like coming out? I mean, whatever. Can you do something else?
Can you do like what you do Taekwondo?
Yeah. There you go. So you can do different things in it. Anything you want. This is something you can do during the challenge. And
But
we
they're
have
easy
two
to
of
put
these
out.
to do for both different. We don't have to take that one out, but we have two different ones for both the Israelites and the Babylonians.
As for the person that's staging it, when you're getting ready to go, just set them up like this. That way it's easy for it to just pull straight out for the person who's, whatever the students or the performers are going to pull it out for them. So it can sit on stage and they can just do it on their
Awesome. Shall we go up and look at the rings?
own. Sure thing.
Love the rings. Let's walk up our nice stairs here, which gave the kids such a workout coming up and down these stairs all the time.
I know. And if you actually watch in the video, we go behind the rings at first, and then
Uh-huh.
up behind.
It's true, they do.
The Babylonians over on the right side have that stuff.
That's true. Okay,
Okay.
look at the rings.
Okay, so this is our rings. The apparatus here is a lot stronger than you need to make it, but for what the wood that was available, we ended up getting pretty strong where it's strong enough to even hold me.
Wow.
So it's nice and safe, but
It sure
basically
is.
it's simple construction. So we've got a 4x4 here that we cut at an angle here. Easiest way if you're not good with using a protractor or something, put it up against the wall, see what kind of angle you want, and then draw a line right up to the ground on the, parallel to the ground as to how you want it. You want these to be about 6 feet, so this ends up being about 5 feet off the ground. And so what we've got then is 3-foot 2x6s on the bottom for the base, sticking out, and that gives you your angle. And then I got really inexpensive 2x3s that it's 5 feet apart here. 2x3s, they're simply just use deck screws to screw these in. It gives enough support there. Then we took a rope that you can get at Home Depot, Walmart, wherever. That's about $10 for the rope. And we strung this around the top of this, doing a little bit of a kind of it's a modified clove hitch all the way through. So if you can see this little line on the bottom here, it literally, you come through and you loop it through, and I can explain that at a later time if somebody needs to know how to do that. And then the rings we tied on here. Now I was having a horrible time finding rings that wouldn't fall apart. And Dawn came to our rescue. And Dawn, do you want to tell?
Talk about the rings, what you found.
The rings are essentially styrofoam rings that people use for arts and crafts. Like they'll put flowers in to make an actual wreath with flowers or leaves and things like that. So they're really
They are
sturdy.
sturdy.
They're pretty solid.
Not the green kind.
Not the green kind. The
No,
green,
these are white and-
these are styrofoam.
Yeah.
These are not floral foam. These are
Correct.
styrofoam. There is a difference, and you can ask at any craft store. There's green ones and there's white ones. You'll see the difference. But
Yeah.
these are styrofoam and not the kind of porous foam.
Right, not the things you stick flowers in.
Right. But you can stick flowers. These actually hold them more solid. So they're in that area. And then we just took yellow duct tape and literally wrapped it around to create our ring.
Right, so we were,
And
we didn't want to go buy actual rings from a gymnastics store because that's too expensive.
Right.
So we made our own, hung them, and then the kids are going to pretend to go across. Which, if you want to do that, swing down, yeah, swing down, good, swing down, good. I like how he does that.
And then we tied them to make sure they hung forward, so the
Correct.
rings would face forward and people would know that they're rings
Correct.
and stuff. So.
Very nice. So anything with rings, I mean, the rings of wrath can be anything, but rings, however you want to incorporate rings, get some rings, hang them somewhere, make a thing. You could string them across your whole church on a thing if you wanted. I mean, you could do whatever you want. Just get some rings for the rings of wrath. I suppose you could also use rings and like throw them, the rings of wrath. It could be like stepping in them, doing something, anything you want. This is just how we interpreted that. Okay, let's see, what else can we look at? We've got our instruments up here. We have taped spots where everybody's supposed to stand. Do we have anything else we want to show? We have safety tape at the end. Well, yeah, because we're using the stage. This is the tape of death, the orange tape they're not allowed to step in front of.
Yep.
Thanks.
That's just me. Oh, look at the backdrops though, our cool backdrops, of course, available through Word Choral Club. We put lights in ours and hung it, which is super fun. And then, of course, you see these backdrop panels that